One thing I was told about the vigil is that Daniel um, approached Cheryl and Haley. This is hearsay, but from what I understand, enough people believe it who are in the right state of mind. Supposedly, Daniel shook Cheryl's hand. And I think that I discussed her already in pretty good detail the last time. And I don't like what I see whatsoever. It's a little bit different with her.
This case has truly
Shut the fuck up.
gathered outside the Stellarton RC.
So, who is this woman, by the way? Look, completely cold. Too much makeup. Where you think you're going? This is the vigil. Like, dress down a little bit. You know what I mean? This is for two missing children.
CMP detachment
Please, seriously, tell me, please, who is this woman?
to hear poems, speeches, and shed tears for the
She looks real. Some of you have said, Haley, no, Haley is all fake. No, 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 no. Haley is hiding something. Haley is hiding knowledge. There is no doubt. Haley is also a Wait, is she the stepsister? Maybe she. Well, she is family to Malaya. Cheryl is a friend of Malaya's. She would not shake Daniel's hand. This to me is very significant. And I wished I'd known that in my last video. Because there's a big difference between her and Cheryl's expressions. A huge difference. Well, maybe it seems very, very small. Maybe to most people there is not that much of a difference. But when you look and you slow it down,
two young children, all while holding on.
this is not duping delight, people. Now, this is somebody holding back and not telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. For sure. But even if there's more facial movement than actual tears that I don't see, I believe also when I saw Logan, I believe when you are at a vigil and surrounded by people who don't come there to argue with each other, they don't come there to accuse each other of anything. Sure, they silently stand there while the police is, doing their, well, let me say it like this and let me get it really, really clear, people. There is an energy there that makes you confront yourself because nobody is there to argue with you or bite your bait. Meaning, if Daniel wants to come on any channel and argue, this is a different Daniel right there. Because this is only about Jack and Lily there. Of course, people have their agendas who are there. But when they are there at that particular moment, it is shut up, listen, light a candle, think about the two kids. And yes, this was kind of like this was a funeral setting, people. This was not a search party. There was an energy the type of energy that resembles the setting of a memorial. Processing a tragedy and helping one another process the tragedy. And tragedy is something final. If your children go missing, you will not go on camera and say, "This is a tragedy." You will not say, "I feel pain and sorrow." You will jump up, get up, and live on hope that they're still alive. Malaya Brooks Murray's actions and words made it very, very clear. She talked about pain and sorrow, and she left the last place where Jack and Lily have been seen alive. Malaya Brooks Murray's friend Cheryl knows something that others don't. She did not cause the disappearance of Jack and Lily. She had nothing to do with that. She hadn't even seen Malaya for 2 years. But I tell you something, guys. Some people, knowing something that not everybody knows, is enough to trigger duping delight, especially if they're complete dumbasses. For example, I don't believe that Chris Proudfoot was the one responsible for. Um, okay, let me not get into this right now. People who are not very intelligent, actually, they're on the lower level of the IQ span, can easily develop a sense of duping, express duping delight when they start to feel like they're on the inside of the circle of the people who have real knowledge about something. Suddenly, for the first time in maybe ever, they consider themselves, or they get the feeling, a rush of feeling mentally superior to other people, meaning they are all of a sudden there at this location and they know something that the majority of people doesn't know. There are those like her who have real feelings towards what took place. Jack and Lily are family to her. Cheryl, I don't know how long she's known Malaya, but she's not family. This woman was unable to shake Daniel's hands, and her and Cheryl have the same knowledge, more or less. Cheryl reacts to the same knowledge very differently than Haley. Haley was unable to shake the hands of who I believe she is convinced harmed both of her little relatives, Jack and Lily.
To hope. Both of them deserve better.
Mind you, she has knowledge that she does not want to reveal. And from the very beginning, I said, I believe that Malaya covers up because if the truth comes out, she will never get to see Meadow again. Whatever involvement she had. And that involvement can also be simply her covering up for whatever Daniel did. Doesn't mean that she physically abused them, even though Wade said something that Malaya locked the kids into a room. I believe that was probably because, well, I think Janie had a huge problem with Jack and Lily. And I believe that Daniel had a problem with Malaya not keeping them quiet. And I believe that at one point, Malaya Well, she had to call. No, she didn't have to, but she called Daniel when he was at work a couple of times, remember? To say, I cannot handle Jack and Lily. You need to come. Doesn't sound like a physically abusive mother to me, does it? Does it, people? Well, I mean, I've never heard of a physically abusive parent feeling the need to call somebody else to discipline the kids. They're the types that say, wait a minute, you step outside, you go next door, and let me take care of this. Well, I believe Malaya no longer cared about Jack and Lily, at least a lot less than at the time that Belinda hung out with her and Jack and Lily more than 2 years ago. Now it's been 6 months, 6 long months of this case. I did not expect it to last this long. I thought by now, somebody would be in prison. Well, Wade talked about her locking the kids up. I believe she did that. I believe she did that because she was not able to control them at all. They were wild with her. That's what Daniel said. That's why Daniel blames Malaya. And I believe whatever Daniel did to make up for it in his own mind, meaning Malaya couldn't discipline them, so he did whatever he wanted to. He went to the other extreme, to the point where eventually just the tone of his voice was enough to scare the children into silence. You see, in order to control children in a physically abusive way, you don't need to every single time beat them and give them the black eye. When the children start to realize who you are, what you're capable of, and what you're willing to do, the slightest increment within your tone of voice will alert a trauma based reaction within the children because they will remember exactly what preceded the last beating. They will realize, oh, so when Daniel says, listen, you have to be quiet. If you're not quiet, then, something like that. When at that moment, I believe the children were already shaking, at least internally, because kids are very perceptive. And they remember, okay, the last time his voice increased in this particular manner, that was right before I had a black eye. These black eyes didn't happen the way that Daniel tried to tell us that they happened. And when you take your time and linguistically take them apart and examine everything, how he says it, you will realize none of these black eyes happened by accident. None of them. And yes, he gives himself away every single time he feels under pressure to talk his way out of something. Oh, what do you mean Jack had a black eye? Oh, he had many. What? What you say, you dumbass? You just admitted to Jack having had many black eyes? Of course, to him, that was his attempt of saying, well, it's just one of those things that happens. Yeah, sure, Jack was clumsy. I believe you. I believe he ran into a doorknob. When I was 5, I ran into what was it? A little dresser, and I needed stitches on my nose. I never had a black eye. I had accidents as a kid. Had my leg broken. I needed 2 surgeries. I had all kind of things happen to me. And I never once had a black eye. Never once. And I only remember one child when I was in elementary school having a black eye one time. And that happened because of a soccer game. And I remember that the teacher asked him what happened, and he had the ball, and one of the opposite player, his elbow. He tried to elbow him away, and the elbow went right into the area where his eye was. And I remember he had a black eye, and it almost looked like makeup. It looked surreal, unreal, but it was real. And what I see in the case of Jack, as I said before, it looks like somebody flat-handedly hit him with a flat hand, not with a fist, flat hand, and the thumb pad caught the eye. That's what it looks like to me.
We deserve answers.
She knows more than she's saying, but there are real feelings here. And it's coming clear. You see, before she was arguing on the air with Logan McKenzie, Logan, the cousin of Daniels, who inserted herself immediately, tried to tell us everything was perfect. Easy leakage, Logan McKenzie. Easy leakage. And of course, Logan attacks me rather than saying, wow, I can't believe that I wasn't able to lie to him the way that I usually lie to people. Easily. Yep. 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 There can be a little bit of duping delight here as well. But remember, she's family to Jack and Lily. She isn't. And I talked about it before when I heard their interviews, and I said, oh my God, when I hear her speak, I say, yep. And that's after I have seen the video of Malaya when she was 17 and talking about makeup, and two dumbasses found each other. I mean, what a ditz. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but this is how I see it. All of a sudden, she knows something that others don't, and she can't contain herself because she feels smart. In a sense, so might she. But to her, these two kids are more important, in my opinion, than they are to her. Not only to her personally, but to the family she is a part of. The impact is much stronger. When she goes to her family, they're not that worried about Jack and Lily. When she goes to hers, where Cindy Murray is now suing whom? The CPS? That's an interesting thing too, right? At least Belinda said that. So my reply to this when Belinda posted it was, well, I want to know if this is financially motivated. And of course, it is, in part, I believe. Cindy Murray knows what happened. And through Wade, we know a lot more. Wade is not saying anything that Cindy would disagree with. She would disagree with him saying it, but not the content, I believe. Maybe here and there a little bit, slightly. Cindy is suing CPS for what reason? Well, okay, her reason is probably look, The moment that there was a fundraiser by Lana, and I hope she's doing better now. Lana, I wish you well, because people seem to have forgotten about you and what you started after you were pushed out and others took over what you started. So I appreciate you knowing the whole story, having just recently learned about what actually took place during the fundraiser, how everything evolved. But either way, maybe one day you'll come on the air and tell me exactly what you wish to share. Stay away from medicine, so called medicine. Face reality at all times. In my opinion, allegedly, and so on. By the way, everything I'm stating is blah, 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 blah. Cindy is suing CPS for what reason? Did she not try to get Malaya to leave? Yes, she did. And Malaya didn't leave. So I actually agree that Cindy has a. I don't. You know what? Of course, No. Let me dissect this. Did she not try to get Malaya? Yes, she did. And Malaya wouldn't leave. So I do believe that she has cause for action here. Because why is the CPS here? If people were able to regulate their own lives, if families were able to take care of their own problems at all times, there wouldn't be a need for CPS, right? So I believe that she actually has a good cause for action here, Cindy Murray. Because this CPS, we're talking about the last resort kind of situation when people fail to properly take care of children. That's when the CPS comes in. That's why we have them. That's why we pay our taxes. Damn it. And we can expect more. Okay, my daughter didn't want to leave her abusive boyfriend or the abuser of her children. So, but Cindy, did you report anything? Did you make a report to CPS? Or do you think that because the teachers called them and CPS failed, and by the way, CPS did fail, 100% they failed. But shouldn't Malaya be the one suing them? Shouldn't she say, I was mentally unfit to be a mother and you didn't catch it? How about that, Malaya? You have a record of when you had a nervous breakdown. Then you can say, listen, I was in a really bad state of mind. Here is the medication I took. Here are the side effects. I was not all there in my mind. I'm giving you now a little bit of an excuse to put pressure on them. Malaya will never be touched, but whatever may come out of this, people, may ensure that Malaya will never be able to have custody of Meadow or any future child she may wind up having. Covering up for Daniel, I believe that's exactly what she did. So I have to disagree a little bit. Did she get to see her children, the children regulate? It's not about how often you've seen them or how long you hadn't seen them or any of that. Did she report anything to CPS showing her concerns? This is the big one. If Cindy Murray never did, but she had more knowledge than the teachers who did call CPS, well, they had to call him. But Cindy had more knowledge when we go by Wade in terms of the observations. Cindy should have been the one to call CPS. So why are you all of a sudden trying to sue them? Now it's too late. Now that it's too late. And yes, people can be awarded money and they have a right. That's people's rights to sue for money, absolutely. But I want to see a little bit more of a motivator than just financial motivators. And it seems to me this side of the family, the moment that money is offered, oh, they jump on it. Even Wade didn't get it until the very last moment when he asked Tint in a private message, hey, so what about the trailer? You said you want to buy it. The horse trailer. He didn't get it until his fixation was, hey, I need to, we need money. We want money. So the Lana fundraiser, oh my God, this Malaya immediately, I want the money in my friend Cheryl's account. That one, I believe the moment the fundraiser came about, that one said, most likely, oh my God, shouldn't we get that money? She's a sneaky one, very sneaky and not very smart. And I remember her interview. I will get more into her older interviews, people. I believe that she anticipates the possibility of having some sort of a benefit. I said that from the very beginning. Malaya is not bright enough. But when they heard about the fundraiser, I believe Malaya's ears immediately. All of a sudden, that was what, 3, 4 months after Jack and Lily disappeared? The whole time Malaya was quiet, and all of a sudden, Lana starts a fundraiser. And all of a sudden, Malaya appears out of nowhere. Hey, 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 yeah, I'm here. Hi, everybody. I'm the mother. Hi, guys. Okay, where were we? Oh, yeah, I want this in my friend Cheryl's account. Why not in hers? Well, who knows? I can think of a few other reasons. But if you owe a ton of money, then maybe the money will be confiscated, for lack of a better term. Maybe she has a clear credit, right? Put it in your account. Yeah, you see, I am very focused on her. If you have something to hide, guys, you may want to hide from me because I can see through everything. And if I don't see you, I can detect linguistically what is going on. Yep, look at her and compare that. She also knows people. But there's a difference here. And now, look at the facial expression here. Very focused. Whom is she looking at? Is she looking at Belinda and Charles arriving? That's what Charles said, right? In my comment section. Oh, I thought before somebody said she was looking at Daniel. I don't know which is which, but the difference. Look at her focus right here. She's curious about something. Remember what I stated about Duping delight? She still has that similar expression here. Let's talk about baselines for 1 second. This is from the public images on Cheryl's Facebook page. The way she looks at the video is not coinciding with the facial expressions that she usually seems to have. Now, having too much makeup on, that may be a part of the baseline. That's nothing unusual. Of course, as I said before, if you go to this event and it's about two missing children, Maybe Haley wears too much makeup usually. I didn't look at her recent Facebook. But you see, Haley may realize this is actually about my two little missing relatives, not about me. So I'm going to tone things down compared to how I usually present myself because it's not about me presenting myself here. It has nothing to do with me.
They need to be brought back home
Yeah, look at Cheryl. Look at her.
safe. It's been 6 months.
Let's listen to her one more time. They need to be brought back home safe. This is also rhetoric, guys. I believe she knows what happened. And it's a meaningless, empty type of thing to say. Bring them home when you don't know how you can express yourself without leaking what you actually know. Remember, she is also the one who said Daniel was rustling in the bathroom and he was getting into a substance. And that Malaya told him for 2 years he had been doing that. But the next day, she went on Facebook to say, I was just kidding. That's not what happened at all. That's what I believe that was because Malaya probably told her, listen, you telling them for 2 years, I knew about it, but the 2 years I lied for Daniel. CPS came in, we had this problem and that problem. I covered up everything. I would have had an obligation to say all these things to protect Jack and Lily, but I didn't. You can't say this. You need to take it back. None of them are the brightest lights in the sky. I mean, they are very blatant types of people. All of them. But when it comes to their presence at the vigil, I detect some real emotions here with her. Here, the Duping delight takes over, guys. Let's finish this part and then I'm going to move on to the most important one.
It's been 6 months, too long.
Just Kate.
I'm different than most people in that regard. I wouldn't be able to just stand there and let people lie to me. I'd have to point it out. Doesn't matter if it's a police officer, if it's, I would not be able to just stand there and blindly support something. Even, and you don't have to be able to do that. Uh, you don't have to go to a vigil to prove that you are on Jack and Lily's side. You don't have to do that. You don't have to participate in a fake search to prove to the world that you care about Jack and Lily. You don't have to do that. That's for people who don't care or have different agendas. Of course, Belinda will go there. Of course, Chelsea will participate because they don't know what else is happening that they can be a part of in order to express their longing. Especially Belinda hadn't seen them for over 2 years, so she has a desire to make up for something that, in retrospect, hindsight is 2020. That she realizes she could have done differently. So it's easy for certain people with an agenda to lure her in and say, "Don't worry, we're gonna take care of this." It's different with me. And yes, I believe Cindy Murray has a right to sue the CPS, but then you need to answer some serious questions too. What was your daughter like? What did she tell you before? And I hope if anybody listens, be it a judge, a jury, whoever, do not award Cindy Murray a single penny until she opens up about whatever Wade said to Tint. That should be played in court, especially the excerpts where it indicates that she had knowledge. Cindy Murray had knowledge of the danger that Jack and Lily were in the trailer with him? That's what we need answers to. So, Cindy Murray, if you had specific knowledge about the danger Jack and Lily may have been in, and you didn't say a damn thing, then this is what we have to focus on, guys. And if you, Cindy Murray, want to continue playing the same games and not tell us what you knew, not tell us what your daughter has told you, then you are the problem alongside CPS. You suing CPS is not the good guy versus the bad guy. It's the bad guy versus the bad guy in this case. I'm not saying CPS doesn't do good work here and there. I'm saying that probably from what some of you have told me in Nova Scotia, from what some of you have told me about Pictou County in general, Pictou County is, to say it sweetly, the problem child, according to some of you. Some of you Nova Scotians from other parts of Nova Scotia have said to me, please don't judge Nova Scotia by Pictou County. Pictou County is the problem child. You know what happens in areas that are problematic areas in mostly every city in this world? CPS is overloaded. Overloaded. They don't have enough spots available sometimes to place children who are not taken care of at home. And the workers are often pressured into making it fit rather than simply passing on the report according to how their studies have prepared them to do so, and everybody else, all the other channels, do their jobs and take care of the rest. It's not always like that. I've seen the inside of a lot of different workings. And I said before, Peter Hyatt was a CPS worker, I believe, at one point. That's why he was often so. That's why so often he pointed out things that about missing children's cases, that the light switch and never mind. That's Peter. You can watch his old videos yourselves. I'm not going to rehash what anybody else is saying. I point people out that I consider valuable, but I'm not going to, I don't need to rehash what other people do. I hate it actually when people talk about what other people said before. I rather look at what people have missed, what people have not been able to discover yet. So when I get inspired by somebody, I take the ball and run with it. And that's the only way to re-inspire the people who inspire you, so that you build the right circle of guys around and girls around you who all contribute their own talents and when it comes to figuring out what a case is all about. And I appreciate the very few of you who do that and bring forward information to me that is not public knowledge and that is often being missed by others in terms of significance. So
Like
let me.
anything. I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods.
11:45. Let's see. I'm now interested more in the Brooks Murray side, guys. I'm very interested now in Cindy Murray and what she knew. Wade, well, I may go back to Wade and listen a little bit closer. Anybody who has in the past listened to my videos about Wade and thought, wait a minute, I already listened to him on Tint's channel and Mike Damon missed something. By the way, yes, my name is Mike the Man, but I'm more and more changing it to Mike Damon. My daughter hates Mike the Man. She hates the last name the Man. She said, your last name is the Man? Okay, if you want. My last name is Damon. She said, I'm not a man. Don't call me the Man. So more and more, I'm like, here locally when I meet people, I mean, whenever I say my last name to somebody, which is rare, I say, okay, I guess it's Damon. So it's up to you. I'm transitioning from the Man to Damon. My oldest daughter also calls it Damon, by the way. So anyways, anyhow, anywho.
Type thing.
It's gonna get better,
I
guys.
don't know if they're out there in the woods. I mean, searchers.
I don't know if they're out there in the woods. You see, even at the very beginning, Daniel realized how ridiculous the claim is. His mother even more so. They're not out in the woods. I believe she probably from the very beginning objected to part of the script that him and Malaya came up with. Especially later, when he rewrote the script with Durwood. I believe Janie has a hard time following people, especially when she disagrees with something. That makes no sense. They're gonna be suspicious.
Doing everything they can, but as from
Very patronizing. Searchers doing everything they can. Very patronizing. This already leads me to recognize that he knows they're not going to find any results. What are you talking about doing all they can? For all you know, they may just have found the remains of the two children that you didn't want at the time. Here he is in hyper defense mode. Now he isn't. He's calm, but he's introspective. And yes, I do believe there's actual remorse. When he said, I wouldn't miss this for the world, I believe him. You see, here's the problem, guys. From the very moment, no matter what happened on Thursday night, I looked at Daniel in a very different light than, let's say, Chris Proudfoot. And it was very hard for me to imagine that this guy had done something very bad. Because that's not like the type of guy that he strikes me as. Period. And I want to make this very, very clear. And one of the biggest problems is that you have a bunch of dumbasses who will say, oh my God, you're making excuses for him. Bunch of Karens that come up, and I'm not making excuses. I'm saying to you, and by the way, these are not the kind of viewers that I want. You can go to Justin, or you can go to wherever you want to go. You can go to Dali Vision. You can go, make these comments there. He doesn't strike me as a type of person. So for me, it took me a long time to let the language guide me towards specifically him. And that was thanks to Logan. Logan is the one who solidified it to me because she knows what the ongoing CPS issues were. Until Logan's interview, I didn't make a decision. Was it Malaya? Was it Daniel? I didn't want to make the decision. He does not strike me as a hater of children. I believe that I believe that Janie McKenzie does. And she is far from a good person at all. I do not believe that what happened would have happened without Janie Mackenzie constantly nagging about Jack and Lily. Even though physically it may have been him who did it. The culprit to me is Janie Mackenzie, the bad one, the evil one. And I avoid saying that. But here's the problem. We need to look for the motive, the instigation, the people behind the scenes. Somebody doesn't wake up one day and say, I want to kill 2 children today. Today is the day I'm going to get rid of both of them. There is no premeditation here. There was ongoing pressure from his mother. And it's not an excuse for physically doing something and harming 2 children. But we need to be above the sheep and only like to come together and attack the shepherd when they are feeling inspired by one brave sheep coming forward. That's not what we do, people. And I always say I hate the herd mentality. Even when I see Daniel in some chat and all of a sudden, when it says it takes one person to say, you kill them, tell us what, and all of a sudden 10 people say the same thing. We don't do that. That mob mentality, we don't do that. We have to be above that. I believe he felt justified because his mummy agreed to what he pleased his mummy, who, by the way, is still in charge of his life. Aside from Justin. I mean, unlike Justin, who has his own life with his own family up north. Shannon, I believe, is his wife's name, or girlfriend, whatever. Marital status is not that important to me, by the way. It's about the commitment in a relationship. So to me, it's just a piece of paper. So he was the stepfather of